How we doing, guys? And a good Monday morning to everyone. A good victory Monday morning to me and my guy. That's Idris Salam right there.
Big
Yes,
Blue
sir.
Monday, baby.
Big Blue Monday. Giants win yesterday. We're going to hit on that. We got international Tom Brady becoming the only player in NFL history to win 3 games in another country. We have potentially the greatest catch in NFL history with Justin Jefferson. Definitely going to give Odell, Lynn Swan, and some other great receivers some competition on that topic. We've got the Dallas Cowboys in Lambeau blowing a 14-point lead. And we've got a lot to talk about with the officiating crew last night in that Charger 49er game. Lots to speak on here. It's our Week 10 NFL rundown, and we are going to start it in Germany. Yeah, man. Tom Brady, I got to say, the most complete game I think he played all year. I think carrying over some of that good momentum from the comeback win against the LA Rams. A very weird play when he kind of bit the dirt. Leonard Fournette threw an interception. Why is Leonard Fournette throwing anything? That thing looked like a water balloon. You know, I was like, what is he throwing? But the Buccaneers beat a quality team yesterday. Give Seattle credit for hanging around. They were down 2 scores. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think Seattle bounces back, or do you think this is potentially a game that could kind of put the league on alarm and be like, this is how you have to play Seattle?
I think a little bit of both. Every team has a bad game. They have their ups and downs. Seattle played a good game because they were down 2 scores, and
they showed some moxie. Showed some moxie.
And you got Geno Smith, and like I said, this year is like, wow, where'd this guy come from? And he almost brought him back. And with Tom Brady, I mean, he just keeps putting stuff up there. They're like, okay, he's the first to do that. He just keeps on, and it seems like, it seemed like after he had the loss last week, 2 weeks ago, when he spoke about, last week when he spoke about how the team was, and he's real animated. And Tom Brady usually talk, he's like, it's calm, but he was real animated. And when I listened to him, I was like, this sounds like a guy who's saying, look here, man, we are better than this.
Oh, for sure. And Todd Bowles is in a tough position, too, because, Todd Bowles taking over as the head coach, they lost some key guys.
They did.
JPP's a Raven.
Sue is gone.
Rob Gronkowski into retirement. And, the health. Mike Evans has been dinged up all year. You got Chris Godwin and Julio who've been dinged up. Julio had a nice signature play reminding people how good he could be when he's actually healthy. But when I look at
I was kind of scared. I was kind of scared when he ran to the end zone because he went. It took that. I said, "Hold up, Julio."
It's almost like you're playing Thanksgiving football with your uncle. You're like, "Oh, you don't got to go that hard, man. I don't want you to pull anything." But nah, man, Julio, it's good to see him, healthier and back. Because he is even at his age, he's considered old for a wide receiver, but such a great talent when he's not injured.
Yeah. And,
there's a reason Tom Brady wanted him to play there. He knows the guy's a winner. I think the immediate future moving forward, Seattle, I still think that they should be a playoff team, but obviously they're going to have to hold off the 49ers, who already have a convincing win against them.
Yeah. And the 49ers, they look like, okay, they're not that good. But then again, bam. Like, look at yesterday, you got to take into consideration, this is a team that still is waiting for everyone to fully be on the same page. Yeah. There's such an abundance of talent on that team. I mean, when you think about a backfield that on any given play could feature Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey together, and that's not even speaking on Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, who's a Pro Bowl caliber tight end, even if his numbers aren't reflecting that. And of course, the great rush.
Not to mention, on the other side,
Cooper Kupp. I'm thinking about Cooper Rush. I mean, the great Cooper Kupp. Cooper Rush, Cooper Kupp. I'm just so waiting to get on the Dallas subject.
No, we're fired up. That's what it is. No, we're fired up, and I get that. Before we move on to the next one, that's essentially with Seattle. They've got to, the Tampa front seven is seriously good when they're playing their game. So Kenneth Walker didn't have his kind of game. And you're going to run into defenses that do that to you. But I guess, Seattle just has to continue to believe in what they do. There's a reason why they have the record they do.
You know something? Now you start to wonder, was that team good because of
Russell Wilson?
Or was it the coach?
Yeah, Zappy's been on this for a while now.
Makes you wonder.
I got to agree with both of you on this because
makes you wonder now.
And there is a crew that we occasionally speak on that suffers from thrush. Is that what it's called? Thrush with your tongue?
Thrush.
Yeah.
Same thing.
The point is they're thirsty.
One of them likes to thrust, but thrash.
The point is they're thirsty. And I remember just a couple of years ago, some of these knuckleheads in our fan base.
The Thirsty Thrash crew.
Hey. I remember just a couple of years ago, these knuckleheads were like, oh, we must have Russell Wilson, and they're ready to throw the farm at Seattle.
Just last year.
Oh, Sierra wants to live in New York. We need Russ.
Let's give him let's give Seattle 2 first round.
Yeah, give them 2 first rounders.
Give them what they need.
Give them what they need. Yeah, let's make sure that we do their rebuild instead of ours.
Right.
Bro, and I always love these fans in our fan base that never watched a game of college football in their life, but they become draft experts because they saw what Mel Kiper said.
Denver has a $200 million problem. We don't.
You are not lying, and that is the biggest reason why why Aaron Rodgers will not be going there. He might stay in Green Bay. I got to think yesterday it's encouraging. Let's go here now. And we'll make it back. The Cowboys, early on in the game, much of what I expected. Yeah. The Green Bay defense is down some players, and they also have not been playing at the best level. Even last night, scrappy. But, I do think there's a couple of things at play here. I think the Dallas play calling down the stretch wasn't the smartest. I'm also going to give Zappy a little bit here where he said, man, that pass interference could have been called. It wasn't. I'm not mad. But, at the end of the day, Dallas blew a 14-point lead against a team that hasn't won a game in a month and a half.
Yeah. The funny thing is they put up that graphic about Dallas being 195-0, leading into fourth quarter with a 14-point lead. And then
isn't that crazy?
And also, they always have trouble with Green Bay. No matter what's going on, they always have leads on Green Bay, and Green Bay always comes back. The pass interference call, it's a missed call. But Dallas shot themselves in the foot prior to that. Holding penalties, false starts, everything else. So you can't say one play decided the whole game.
One play never decides the whole game. And Dallas essentially got shut down in that fourth quarter pretty much for the last 20 or so minutes of the game. And, you've got to give Green Bay credit because, they fought and they looked like a team that at least for one Sunday was like, nah, man, this is our house. We know what you guys and what the media keep saying you guys are. And, Green Bay in a very crowded NFC, if they could string off 3 or 4 in a row, could find themselves potentially fighting for a wild card. It would be a long stretch because they already have 6 losses and they have a gauntlet. Like they got to go play Tennessee next week. But, there's a lot of parity. And I'm not going to count on a team that Aaron Rodgers plays on. And yesterday, for the first time, I probably have to say all season, he looked like a former 4-time league MVP.
He did. It's funny because I had said after Philly beat Dallas, I said, look, y'all, Philly laid out the game plan to beat Dallas. Because Chicago ran against that defense. They lost, but they put up some points against that defense.
They did.
And then yesterday, Green Bay. And Green Bay, Lazard, he's not a number one.
No, not by any means. But I will say this, though. Romeo Doubs is hurt right now. Christian Watson really showed out. And I gotta say, man, you get these kids continued reps and working together. And now that Devontae Adams trade, it might not reflect on their record this year. But that Devontae Adams trade looks like in the end, Green Bay might win this in a big way. And maybe even someone like me, who just one short week ago is saying how, man, Rodgers is damaging his rep and he wants out. Maybe he's just that competitive that he has a standard for what he expected as winning, But, Rodgers has always been a tough guy to read.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, man, yesterday, even throwing that block, like putting his body in harm's
and then
way,
it was like flexed after.
Well, he's always been an eccentric character, but I gotta say, man, he showed a lot of heart yesterday. I know Zappy. I'm not gonna lie. I wanted to get Zappy on the show yesterday because I said, "Hey, pal, remember week 3 in September after you guys beat us on Monday night? We did that show. I was trying to get Zappy in here yesterday.
Yeah,
it would have been even more perfect if I could have got John in here and had the whole Packer.
Yeah, the whole
Packer
Oh, that'd be great.
Man. Basically, just go to the microwave, make the popcorn, let them talk. But but nah, man. The immediate future, Dallas Cowboys, still one of the better teams in the NFL. But their defense is starting to show some warts. Yes, they have Micah Parsons, who is a phenomenal football player.
Oh, yeah.
But, if you can keep him honest, there's nobody shutting him down. But if you can keep him honest, it is being shown that you can throw the ball downfield on these guys. I mean, Trayvon Diggs, another phenomenal talent, but they are showing some warts.
They can't stop the run, man. They can't stop the run. Also, speaking on Dallas, they are going back into that same pattern where they have leads, but they don't want to run the ball. That 4th down play, I said, I was shocked that they were going for it. But then when they went for it, when I saw the play, I said, why didn't they just throw the ball to Tony Pollard out in the flat? Because once he's in the flat, he's hard to take down because he's so elusive.
Not to mention with your defense.
Right.
Punting the ball wouldn't have been the worst idea either.
No, you could have punted it, whatever, and made Green Bay drive all the way downfield.
Where everybody says you do, like McCarthy outthought himself last night. I gotta say that. Again. And to your point about Tony Pollard, one thing I gotta say is the absence of Zeke was evident also because it's not just running the ball, but what you lose when Zeke is not in the game is you lose a good blocker.
Power.
Yeah, because he's not afraid to mix it up with those linebackers. He's not afraid. He's a good blocker in addition to being a perennial 1,000-yard back. The Zeke loss definitely hurt.
And see, the thing with Zeke also, Pollard is more the speed shifty. Zeke is going to pound you. He's
the old school.
He's going to pound you, and that wears a defense down.
No doubt. And it's a lot. Tony Pollard is a very good football player, but they complement each other. And when one is not in the lineup, it would be similar to if A.J. Dillon or Aaron Jones on the other side, if one of them was down, because they too really complement each other. This game ultimately puts the Giants a game up. So, the immediate future for the Cowboys, let's start with the Giants and we'll roll it to the Cowboys. Giants, big win yesterday at home. A frustrating first half, but we've become accustomed to the Giants having frustrating first halves. They only average 7.5 points per game in the first half, which is astounding that they have a 7-2 record despite that. Brian Dable was shown on camera lighting up his offensive line for just untimely penalties. I felt that we should have been up probably 13-3 at the half as opposed to 7-3.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Oh, I was watching the game and also listening to the radio broadcast.
Right.
And Carl Banks and Bob Papa was saying how we should be up by 13 points.
At least 10, 13, yeah.
And even towards the end of the game, Howard Cross on the sidelines and Carl Banks was saying we should have put 40 points on these guys. After that 4th and 1 and we had the false start, Brian Dable went into
they went heavy set. And
he went into when they came to the we got that penalty. He went in like he
and friend of the show, our good friend Gary, who we went to the Jacksonville game with, he was saying at the tailgate, he's like, guys, what is Dable saying to these guys at halftime? But whatever it is, it works because
Newt Rockney.
Yeah, man, and the Giants have become a kind of team. As Coach Bill Cowher said yesterday on the CBS broadcast after the game, that he really feels that they have become so accustomed to playing in close games. And the most important stat is that they're winning because Coach Cowher wasn't hearing Boomer Esiason when Boomer was like, these guys don't score enough points. And Coach Cowher was like, dude, I used to coach Pittsburgh.
Right.
And when we scored 24, that was a lot. But look at my track record and look at our record as a team. And, I think Coach Cowher, considering the generation that he's from, really appreciates these Giants. And, of course, they were having fun with Phil Simms asking if Dable has a lot of Parcells in him. A little Parcells. Simms replied, he's actually got a lot of Parcells.
He's got a lot of Parcells.
And, we know how great Bill Parcells was for the organization. As far as the Cowboys go, big game in Minnesota next week. We host the Lions, who are actually on a 2-game winning streak, so cannot go into that taking them lightly. But, a potential Viking victory and a Giant victory next week would set up a 2-game lead in the East in terms of second and third. Of course, Philly plays the Commanders tonight. And I got to say, man, that would be huge because hypothetically, if the Cowboys were to sweep the Giants, given a potential Thanksgiving win, the Giants would still have a game lead on them. But if the Giants were to, not to get too ahead, but if the Giants were to go in there with a 2-game lead and beat Dallas,
that might be it.
That's tremendous. And then all of a sudden, you're looking at a 2-team race between the Eagles and the Giants.
Speaking about Bill Cowher, I agree because and with our fan base, they want us to score 30, 40, 50 points a game. I'm like, look, let's win.
It's not the style that's conducive. And I got to say this too. And, the absence of X-Man was evident at certain points in the game because something that we're not used to seeing is the Giants polishing off these nice offensive drives. And then the defense is making their share of mistakes. But, I can't get on the defense because at the end of the day, they have been the backbone of this team all year, along with Saquon Barkley and a much improved O-line. And, Daniel Jones is just showing some serious growth and leadership.
He's not turning the ball over, man. He's not giving the ball away, giving a opposing team a chance. He's not giving the ball away. That's always a plus. Those are points that we're not giving up because they can lead the field goals, touchdown, whatever,
And before we move it along and talk about the great Justin Jefferson catch and that excellent matchup, the guy that he'll get compared to making that catch is obviously Odell Beckham. And while we're here, the more I think about this, and yes, I will admit I would love to see Odell back in blue, but I will say this. When I consider that Isaiah Hodgins knows this playbook from his days in Buffalo with Brian Dable, he made a huge play yesterday. Then you got Cager, who was kind of like similar skill set to an Evan Ingram minus the Butterfingers.
Right.
But he is a supreme athlete, definitely a hybrid. And I say, man, you got Bellinger hopefully coming back soon. Now you have 2 very talented tight ends. When you want to go 3 tight ends, you have a guy like Tanner Hudson, who's more of a traditional tight end that, he did what he had to do yesterday, given the enhanced playing time. I guess what I'm saying is with the Giants' ability to groom these kids into becoming more dependable players, the emergence of Darius Slayton, and you still got Wan'Dale Robinson out of Kentucky, who's really starting to come along. I'm not sure in the bigger scheme of things if adding Odell is what's best.
I agree. The thing about with Odell,
and I love Odell for this team because of his skill set, but it's like, this is a young team. Bottom line, this is a young team.
The way I look at it with Odell would be nice because you have like basically a number one. However, the problem with that would be these younger players who are making their move. It's like you got that one kid, he's doing what he's doing, but then you bring some other guy in here to do his job. And now this little kid who's been doing this job for so long, he feels like, I'm doing this. Now you bring this other guy in here. I would like to have him, but I think in the grand scheme of things, these receivers we had, like Slayton, he's like, look, I'm getting my chance.
Yeah, this is definitely his chance with the injury to Shep, with the trade of Tony. But I will say this, to play devil's advocate to even my own point, one thing that I notice about the way Dable does things is that he loves switching up who's going to be on the field down to down, let alone series to series.
Yep.
Kenny Golladay had opportunities yesterday and once again failed miserably, but this is a guy that realistically is going to probably be on the roster next year as well because the Giants cannot justify cutting him just yet. Probably going to have to play it out past 2023 in that offseason. So you're looking at least another year and a half of this guy. At some point, we're fans. You just got to hope he contributes. But I guess in closing on the Odell point, I'm not saying I don't want him. I'm just saying that I could understand why the Giants will look at it as such. But, you put him and insert him into this roster. Yeah, I still think, a lot of good things can happen because Zappy has been up and down about saying how, well, he's not in a position where he should be a number one given the knee injuries. But in the Giants' ever-changing offensive scheme, drive to drive, I don't necessarily think there is a defined number one. I think it's more about just how the game goes. One thing I enjoy about Kafka, Dable, and on the other side, Wink, is that they adapt so well to in-game scenarios, and that is the reason why this team is 7-2.
Right. It's like you go out, you get your chance. If you blow your chance, you may not get another. Look at KG. He hadn't played. They put him in there yesterday. I mean, one of the passes was over his head, but that one.
But he didn't exactly go out of his way to get it either.
Yeah, right. But that second one. You cannot drop that pass.
That was inexcusable. I mean, it went right through him.
You cannot drop that pass. He gets that ball. He's still running today.
I think the thing that floored me the most about that, it wasn't even a drop. It literally went through him.
Through his hands.
And I'm like, bro, you're 6'6", 6'5". What are you doing? And those fans let him hear it.
He's still running. He caught that ball. He's still
as slow as he is. He may have really done something with that. Unreal, man. Unreal. We're going to flip it over to probably definitely the game of the week. Yeah. Going into this, nobody thought that Josh Allen was going to play. They were not sure. But I got to say, and I'm not used to saying things like this, the Bills lost this game due to Josh Allen. His recklessness with football. Yeah. I do think that to a level, in the back of his mind, he knows he's not 100%. In your opinion, do you think this is something that the Buffalo Bills have to worry about moving forward?
Yeah, I'll tell you why. It's not overreaction Monday. I like Josh Allen. And I like what he does.
Sure.
But as I always said, when coming out of college, he was Daniel Jones.
A lot of people make that comparison.
He was Daniel Jones. And coaching matters. And yeah, he might not have been 100%, but he still being hurt and injured has, it's different when you think he made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
He made a lot of mistakes. And that's not arm thing. That's up here.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And all week, I think Buffalo was playing down the injury. And it's bigger than that too. It's a little bit of everything. It's a team thing. There was a point made that even in the Green Bay win, they've been slumping, even though they kind of backed out of into that win with how poor they played in the fourth quarter. You look at how the Jets roughed them up.
Oh man.
Buffalo is in third place right now, which is nothing to be ashamed of in that division. I think with the emergence of the Miami Dolphins, you got a Patriot team that's playing good defense.
And you don't know what the Jets are coming at you. They look like, look here, y'all ain't gonna push us around.
Yeah, Robert Saleh, definitely the team taking on his identity and his message. But I guess I wouldn't necessarily sound the alarm on Buffalo, but what I will say is, 10 turnovers over the last 2-3 games. That is something to keep an eye on. And Josh Allen has to take better care of the football. Bottom line.
Yeah.
And blowing a 2-score lead.
Funny thing, when I was checking in Facebook, a lot of people were saying how Buffalo was going to put the second string in the second half. And I was like, it's a little early for that.
Yeah.
Minnesota might be who they are. I mean, Minnesota might be that team.
It's still a tough sell for me, but I want to hear what you got on this.
Justin Jefferson, golly, man. What would it be without him? Golly,
that catch yesterday, one for the
he caught it and took it away. This is mine. Golly, and that whole game was just that second half was incredible, man. And Stephon Diggs had a good catch too.
The two of them just put up phenomenal stat
Yeah,
lines.
but that one was Justin Jefferson, man. And with Kirk Cousins, because when it comes to that prime time or that main stage, he has a tendency of choking. He did his thing, although at the end, I was like, oh, here we go. Kirk Cousins is
Yeah, he's trying to shed that reputation of being a guy that's not a primetime player, so to speak. Justin Jefferson, I don't even think it's too far-fetched to think that this kid could potentially be in the MVP conversation. I also believe that Saquon Barkley could be in the conversation. And if I had to pick a quarterback right now, believe it or not, if this conversation was 3 weeks ago, I'd say Josh Allen. Right now, it's Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
I think it's got to be Patrick Mahomes right now. Josh Allen has definitely taken a step back in terms of MVP talk, because of the fact that he's turning the ball over a little too much. Immediate future for both of these teams. As I stated on the show already, Vikings have a big one as they're going to be taking on the Dallas Cowboys. In Buffalo's case, I'm not necessarily worried about their schedule. I'm more worried about the health of Josh Allen. And the bye week does screw up teams. And it seems like the bye week has definitely got Buffalo into a bit of kind of like an ornery kind of like slump that they're in. And, you're going to find out a lot about the character of this team because, as I stated already, the AFC East, while I think all of us were gifting it to Buffalo going in, Miami's for real. The Jets are scrappy, and the Patriots have the best coach in the NFL. Let's not get that mistaken. Bill Belichick is still that dude, with or without the roster that he needs. That guy is a great coach.
It's funny.
Lots to be figured out in that division.
It's funny because you look at the NFC East and the AFC East.
Yeah.
You're like, everyone had one team basically running away with it. Buffalo with the East, with the AFC, and Philly with the NFC. No one expected the Giants to come up. No one expected the Jets to come up.
No, not this quickly.
With New England, and then now the Commanders look like they're trying to get their heads together. And those divisions, I think the AFC East is going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
Well, the intriguing thing about both these divisions, and I would say more so right now, the AFC East. The AFC East has a legitimate chance to send all 4 teams to the playoffs.
Yep.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think there's going to be 3 teams and somebody's going to be on the outside looking in. Given the schedule, given the way things break down, and I could be wrong, I think the Jets are going to barely miss the playoffs but still finish at 9-8. I was checking out their schedule. Yeah. I think New England and the Jets going into this Week 11 matchup is going to be a big telltale.
Yeah.
The Jets really need this one. I don't think they could afford getting swept by New England because at the end of the season, that could really come back to bite. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And the NFC, too, there's a possibility the East could send 4, but I think they'll send 3.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think Washington's going to be able to sustain and hang in that final wild card chatter, especially when you got a strong Seattle team. You got a strong 49er team. You got 3 in the East. It's going to be very hard for them to hang around like that. I want to talk more about on this game. I'll put it to you like this. Tell me your feedback on how good this 49er team could be, and I'm going to tell you about how bad these officials are.
They could be real good if they get healthy. That backfield, Garoppolo, CMC, Debo.
Yeah, man.
Got Kittle out there. They could be good. I mean,
like scary good.
Yeah, and because the defense does what it does. I think they just got to stay healthy. And McCaffrey's only been there 2 weeks. So he's
doing a great job in a limited time.
Yeah, and once he gets the whole concept of the offense, they could be tough, man. One thing I want to touch on right quick before you go to the officiating, because you need the officiating. That's going to be your part. You got to handle those.
Yeah, guys. I'm ready for this.
How about Colt McCoy in Arizona?
Yeah, you got to give him a shout out. Once again, we could bring the Thirst Crew back one more time. Yeah. Colt McCoy had a victory in 2020 over the great Russell Wilson. Yes. And I want to make it clear, I respect Russ. He's a great guy, and I'm not trying to take a crap on Russ. I'm just saying that it's been proven that would have been an idiotic trade, for lack of a better word. But Colt McCoy, shout out to him. Excellent college player. He was dogged because he didn't necessarily turn into a starter that most people thought
he
would.
With the Cleveland, so you know.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of careers die there. But when you look at his track record and still being in the league, I do genuinely believe that he is a top flight backup quarterback.
I wish we never got rid of him last year. Let him go to Arizona last year.
Yeah.
We could have used him. We could have used him.
But I guess where things are now, I am confident with Tyrod because of who's coaching the team.
I mean, for this year, cool. I'm talking about last year when.
Last year I would have definitely wanted McCoy.
Yeah.
As you saw, what we got left with. Yeah, man. Yeah, you saw what we got. The neck, Glennon. As far as this game goes yesterday, you hit on the points. The 49ers, they are so well coached. This is a team that was just a game away from the Super Bowl last year. Now you add a Christian McCaffrey, which is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta say that it's scary because I would have to think that when you think of who's elite in the NFC, whether I want to say it or not, Philly is deserving. And even with Dallas's little stumble yesterday, they are still super talented. And, of course, the Vikings. I'm still not sold on the Vikings because they beat a lot of backup quarterbacks, but yesterday was a step in the right direction. Yeah. These Chargers are a good football team. I like the effort that they put yesterday. They got to get healthy. They are still missing too many people. Justin Herbert is sensational. But, the better team won yesterday, or the better team right now, I should say. Chargers have a damn good team, and I liked their toughness yesterday and how they were able to hang around because the 49ers did not play mistake-free, but they did enough.
Right.
And, on the subject of mistakes, this is something that's really been eating at me watching that game yesterday. I'm sure everybody's talking about it. I don't know if people seen it. Dre Greenlaw, helmet-to-helmet contact with quarterback Justin Herbert. Now, I want people to understand this. There's a lot of moving parts on these kind of plays. And while I more than understand that the NFL has to make it a top priority to protect quarterbacks because it is a quarterback-driven league, and more so than that, you're talking about the CTE and the after effects of life playing football. But I want to make it clear, quarterbacks are not the only people down the road that potentially could suffer from CTE.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried to explain this on a podcast post that I made before we went live here, that I feel that when you're talking about a target, and believe me, I don't agree with Chris Collinsworth often, but he was right yesterday. When you talk about a moving target, it is very difficult to avoid that kind of contact. Do I think there needs to be a flag? Yes, I do. I get it. It's the rules. But to have an overreaction of kicking this kid out of the game, it's wrong on a lot of levels because, my thing is this. Herbert was trying to get where he was going. He did get a little assistance of how the collision happened because of the previous 49er. But when you think that this is a game that's played at top speed, to ask somebody to always have the wherewithal to avoid any and all contact, it's a little unreasonable. It's unreasonable. And, you factor in, this is the same officiating crew. It's weird. So they were on top of the concussion thing. Herbert passed protocol, but by him getting pulled, that was an integral part of a drive where they could have got some points that were necessary. They didn't. Herbert was back in quarter 3. Really good football game, but, so they got that part right. After Tua, the referees are under a microscope, as are both, coaching staffs. But this is my thing that really pisses me off. End of the game, the touchback, that didn't happen. And it's like, man, so you're ejecting somebody for, in my opinion, not an incidental hit, but that wasn't with intention to put him down. That wasn't Jack Tatum. That wasn't Chuck Cecil. You know what I'm saying? So
shout out to Chuck Cecil, one of my favorite defensive backs.
Yeah, that was a bad man. But at any rate, the point to be made here is that wasn't with intention to put him down like that. And I think it was wrong. So I say to myself, is this an officiating crew that I would want overseeing my team in a playoff game?
Or Super Bowl.
Hell no. Or a Super Bowl for that matter. Hell no. The NFL, I get it. you're making strides to make this game safer, and I do understand that. But at the same time, you got to start holding these officials accountable. That's the national stage, and these dudes were awful yesterday. Awful. The only thing that they got right, in my opinion, was the proper steps for protocol immediately. But, I mean, they tried to stop the game after they realized it was a touchback and it was already second down. I'm like, you can't do that. But mind you, I saw this happen last week, week 9, where they reset the football after running a first down play.
Yes.
I'm like, you can't create the rules in the middle of a game. You can't change them. I'm like, bro, this ain't peewee football. What the hell are y'all doing?
You know something? That punt where the 49ers got it on the 1 and they blew it, and they had to go review. I was like, what are you doing?
It's too late. They already ran for if they would have took their head out of their asses, you're supposed to do that before first down. So now the Chargers ran a play and now it's second down because you know damn well that the play calling is going to be different if you're starting at the 20 versus the 1. Chargers, it's funny. So the bad call on Greenlaw actually screwed the Chargers worse.
It did.
Because if that's a tight end.
Because the funny thing about that play, the funny thing about that play, relax. The funny thing about that play, I said, okay, hell yeah. 49ers got on the 1 yard, down there on the 1 yard line. Yeah. I go to the kitchen, I see Sandy, I keep calling him Sandy. The Chargers with the ball. Yeah. And I was like, okay, but I wasn't thinking about where they were. I was like, okay. So I did something and I came back. And I was like, they were still showing the play. I was like, what the hell happened? I'm trying to figure out what the hell happened.
My thing is there were 3 signature situations in that game. And the referees failed on 2 of the 3. That's miserably, not the kind. Yes.
Miserably.
Yeah. So go apologize to Dre Greenlaw. This is my thing. He's not going to get fined. I don't think so.
He won't get fined.
But this is what pisses me off. Troy Vincent played in one of the most physical eras of professional football. Do you know how many naps he bestowed on wide receivers? And now your man is becoming Captain Cautious with the way he oversees these? I'm like, you of all people?
The guy who would hit you in the head in a second.
That would be like if Lyle Alzado or Jack Tatum, shout out Lyle Alzado, rest in peace.
Jack Tatum, the assassin.
That would be like if these dudes were on the committee and they were like, no, we got to turn this into two-hand touch. Yeah. It's not going to happen.
No.
I'm tired of it, man.
Troy Vincent used to take your head off.
Yes.
He would take your head off.
And now
helmet to helmet and everything.
He's going to punish fellow defensive backs when it's already an offensive-driven league where they like you can't even do anything anymore on defense. Lawrence Taylor, Mike Singletary, those dudes couldn't play in this era.
How can you have a rule where the quarterback is a runner and he goes? I mean, yes, he was aided by a 49ers player, but he goes head first, and the defender's coming in full speed.
It's a joke, bro. I'm not okay with it. I'm really not.
Yeah, that touchback.
For sure, man. For sure. And the thing is like, you want to keep holding all these players accountable and start messing with their wallets. Yeah. I understand that being an official is not an easy job. But they got to do better, bro.
Look, when I came back to the living room, like I had thought I might have hit, the thing that did the pull, because I got DVR. I'm thinking I might have hit the button on my remote, to push the playback. So I said, okay, what did I miss?
Right.
But then I see a jump. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. This is like Speed, where they had the damn video camera recording while they were on the bus, and they kept looping and looping and looping. And Dennis Hopper thing.
Bro, can you imagine if the great John Madden was still alive covering this game the way he would have ripped into this officiating crew?
They lucky he passed away before this season because
he wasn't having that crap. Shout out John Madden, rest in peace, true legend. But I'm telling you, man, it is so ridiculous what I saw yesterday. I'm gonna like just dead this topic because it's really pissing me off.
We'll talk this a whole hour, dude.
Yeah. Enough, guys. Tighten up. You guys have to do better. It shouldn't be like,
that was horrible.
Yes, guys gotta. Nothing was worse than Chris Jones earlier this year when he basically pickpocketed the football from Carr. And somehow that you didn't hug him before you put him down.
You didn't hug him, yeah,
you didn't give him a kiss on the cheek. I'm like, guys, enough is enough, man.
Or even the tackle on Tom Brady where he got slung down, and they.
Oh my God!
Let's move on, man.
Well, I mean, we've basically more than covered our displeasures with the officials. Just to let you guys know, we're actually going to be back this evening.
Yep.
We're going to be doing a show covering the Pete Rose apology letter. Definitely a hot topic.
Yeah.
We want to hit on that this evening. Look for us roughly around 7 p.m. tonight. And another thing, too, we're going to be hitting on some of the Kyrie, LeBron James, as well as what's happening currently in the NBA. And I'm glad that we got this officiating thing out of the way, so I'll be able to be a little more calm.
Yeah.
Also planning a hip hop show for the near future. I'm sure this guy's going to want to be involved in that.
Yes, y'all.
Yeah, man. Idris, thank you for getting up early and hanging with me today, man.
It's been a while, man. Golly. But I'm back.
Nah, appreciate it, man. Definitely a better show.
Yeah.
Because can you imagine me being that animated if I was talking to myself?
I don't know, man. You can get pretty animated.
I know, but they might have been like, they might have been asking like some of my closest friends to do an intervention. Like, man, there's something wrong with Rich.
You might have went Colin Cowherd or something like.
Yeah.
What's the guy from back in the day? Paul Harvey.
Yeah. They would have been like, bro, like something's wrong with Rich. Can you guys like do a wellness check on him or something?
For real.
This guy's getting a little too angry. Guys, thank you so much for watching. We had a great time covering Week 10 of the NFL, and we will be back this evening. Until then, enjoy your Monday, a Big Blue Victory Monday. Thank you for watching.
Always. And we're still here.
Yeah, it has just dawned on me that I accidentally didn't click where I was supposed to.
Support hip hop, true hip hop. I'm trying to get us support the show. We need a sponsor.
Yeah, we definitely going to be searching down sponsors as I'm still continuing to talk.
Yeah.
I'm probably not going to approach these sponsors with the same animation that I did when speaking about. Yeah, maybe I'll go reach out to Big Shug, see if I can get him out see if I get him out for the weekend.
Perfect.
Take it easy, everybody. Thank you so much.